Welcome to another one of my video blogs. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. This is a follow-up to my Shadow Person series. I put the first couple ones out a couple of years ago. They're my first two ever video blogs back on my old channel. So when you look at them now, they looks like they were released last year, but they're actually a couple years ago. But this has been inspired basically, and I've always kind of wanted to follow up on this with more information, but this has been inspired really by Amber Walter, who she hit me up on one of my videos asking me if I had seen my ghost story video, which I knew was out there, and I started watching a couple minutes, but things got crazy, hectic, and so I never finished watching it. So I did that yesterday. I watched the entire video and her experiences, which is part one. Looking forward to part two. And basically the experience she described had to do with shadow people, sleep paralysis, Old Hag Syndrome, that sort of thing. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today, because I mentioned that in my other videos. I did get into some details about sleep paralysis. I briefly hit on the Old Hag, but not in detail, because my experience had to do with a full shadow person, and then I talked about some different ones, like the one with the hat and red eyes and things like that. So go back and watch those videos. I'll link those below. I'm also going to link Amber's video below. I don't want to give too many details of that. I want you to go watch her video and make your own assessment of her experiences. But basically, she's had a number of experiences of waking in the middle of the night, feeling the pressure on the chest, a woman standing in the corner or in the doorway, and she actually relates that woman to some experiences in her past with her brother, actually. So it's kind of all tied in. She's had some other experiences after that as well, and given that there's a part two, I can't imagine what else is coming. But the core of this is basically what they call Old Hag Syndrome, where you wake up in the middle of the night, you have sleep paralysis, you feel like this heavy pressure on your chest, like somebody is sitting on your chest. Some people see an old hag, something sitting on their chest. Some people will see a woman standing in the corner or a doorway or something like that, and so that's what they call the Old Hag. But so Old Hag Syndrome is a term. Night Hag is another term that has been used when people have used the term hag-ridden. When you wake up in the morning, you look hag-ridden. It's a type of sleep deprivation, but that's what they're referring to. And the Old English term for hag was mare, so that's where nightmare comes from. And now, instead of just this one type of phenomenon, we use it for all bad dreams. Throughout history, there's been a number of different legends and a lot of folklore surrounding this phenomenon, such as old Hebrew legend equates this phenomenon to Lilith, and Lilith is purported to be Adam's first wife before Eve. And if you go through some different scriptures, you can kind of string some different passages together and make some different links and draw out this conclusion. Not saying whether or not I actually believe that, but there's Sumerian legends, ancient Sumerian legends, that have Lilith as a malevolent seducer of men while they sleep. So you're thinking like succubus with this. And that's actually something I'm going to get into in another video. I think it was a couple months ago, I promised a paranormal and sex video, which I haven't yet done, but I'll get into those types of phenomena in that video. Middle-aged Europe basically equated this type of phenomenon to a demon or a witch in the middle of the night trying to extract your soul, and things like that. And I'm going to do something a little unconventional that I don't usually do, and I'm going to actually read. I have my computer here in front of me. I'm actually going to read some of these different legends and folklore for you, so that you get an idea of what people have experienced across history. So, for instance, in Scandinavian folklore, sleep paralysis is caused by a mare, a supernatural creature related to incubi and succubi, which I've already talked about, or referred to. The mare is a damned woman who is cursed, and her body is carried mysteriously during sleep and without her noticing. In this state, she visits villagers to sit on their rib cages while they're asleep, causing them to experience nightmares. There's folk belief in Newfoundland, South Carolina, and Georgia. I don't know why they linked these three specific places together. Describe the negative figure of the hag who leaves her physical body at night and sits on the chest of her victim. The victim usually awakes with a feeling of terror, difficulty breathing because of the heavy invisible weight on the chest, experiencing sleep paralysis. In Fiji, experience is interrupted as kanotavoro, or being eaten by a demon. In many cases, the demon of the spirit, or the demon can be the spirit of a recently dead relative who has come back for some unfinished business. There's stuff here about Nigeria. Let's see. Turkey, sleep paralysis is called karabasan, and I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher some of these different words. And it is similar to other stories of demonic visitation during sleep. A supernatural being, commonly known as a jinn, and jinn is a supernatural creature from way, way back in the day, and there's a lot of different theories about, exactly what a jinn is, who jinn are. There's some people that believe all paranormal activity these days is related to jinn. Not going to get into that. But basically, this legend says a jinn comes to the victim's room, holds him or her down hard enough to not allow any kind of movement, and tries to strangle the person. In Thailand, it's believed that sleep paralysis and discomfort is caused by a ghost of the Thai folklore known as Payam. Some people claim that this spirit even causes bruises. And they even have, I guess the spirit is in a bunch of Thai comics these days. Interesting. Southern states of the United States is commonly or sometimes referred to as witch riding. Okay, so let's see. Chinese culture, sleep paralysis is widely known as Gaia Shin, which literally translates into ghost pressing on body or ghost pressing on bed. So there's that. The Japanese sleep paralysis is referred to as kanashibari, literally bound or fastened in metal. Okay. So there's a lot of different things. Southeast Asia, South Asia. I'll just pull a couple different things. There's a ton here. Arabic culture, sleep paralysis is often referred to as jathum. Literally, what sits heavily on something. In folklore across Arab countries, jathum is believed to be a shaitan sitting on top of a person and is also choking him. African culture, Zimbabwean Shona culture, the word Zazakira, sorry, like I said, I'm butchering these names, is referred to something strongly pressing one down. And then there's different European ones, Americas. The point is, okay, and I could sit here and read these all day. The point is that these stories have spanned multiple different cultures throughout all of time. This phenomenon exists worldwide with everybody forever. So, there's the medical community for regards all of this as sleep paralysis. And I've talked about this before with sleep paralysis, is that, and I've experienced real sleep paralysis, okay? And when I've experienced real sleep paralysis, I did not see anything unusual, okay? When I experienced real sleep paralysis, I couldn't move either, okay? And in my experience with waking in the middle of the night, seeing a shadow person in the corner of my room, it actually came up, interacted with me, my arms were moved, I was able to move my head to watch it run down the hall. I tried to scream, so my mouth opened. So I was able to move a little bit during that case, okay? So when I had my sleep paralysis moments, I was not able to move. I couldn't see a thing, So chalking all this up to sleep paralysis. And also there's the point that I love to make with sleep paralysis is, if our minds are still in some sort of like waking dream state, and our mind is still like hallucinating from different dreams and things that we're having, why in the world is it always a person that we see? I dream about all kinds of stuff. Why isn't a plane flying over my head? Why why isn't there a tree coming up in my room, a car driving through? You know, I dream about all kinds of different things and objects. But waking in the middle of the night, people see a person in their room. So I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think that's real. I do believe sleep paralysis is real as well. I've experienced both. As far as this particular phenomenon with Old Hag Syndrome, the closest experience that I've had is, and I've never talked about this on video or in my books. Now, Encounter with the Paranormal has the shadow person story that I was just talking about. And Adam Tillery drew a fantastic portrait of that that's in the book. I'll show it up here on the screen. It's very, very close. The only thing that's really different is the style of the closet door. You know, and he didn't draw in the detail of wallpaper, but I don't think that matters. But that's pretty darn close to what I saw. And then it actually came up and interacted with me. This, and see, I don't even necessarily call what I experienced Old Hag Syndrome, but I will tell my story anyways, because I've had this happen a few different times, where I've awoken in the middle of the night to something pressing on me, but not in that sense that it was trying to extract my soul. The old European legend from the Middle Ages was that, you know, they were trying to extract the soul and take your soul. That's not what I necessarily felt. What I felt was that something was trying to get in me and take my body. And what I did was I prayed. And I prayed and I prayed, and eventually it went away. And it was done. I prayed for protection. Prayed to God, prayed for protection, and I was protected. That's happened, you know, at least 2 or 3 times, at least. It hasn't happened for a couple of years, but yeah. So that's basically my story and what I have felt in this type of situation, which I guess you could chalk that up to Old Hag Syndrome. I didn't see anything. Everything was completely black. There was no visual stimuli. There was no hallucinations, no envisioning anything. Just, it felt like something nasty, something bad was trying to get inside of me, and I wasn't going to let it. So that's about all I have for this one. This was a bit more detail on, you know, Old Hag Syndrome and that feeling of waking, having somebody sit in your chest, the pressure, seeing something off on the side, or somebody off on the side. I do encourage you to go watch Amber's video again. I am linking that below because she has a lot more detail about her experience there. So go watch that. You know, make your own opinions and assessment. Comment on her video. Comment on this video. Let me know what you think of this and what you think of my story and the details and legends surrounding that. Again, for the shadow person experiences that I've had, please go ahead and watch the other 2 videos, which I have linked below. There's more detail about sleep paralysis and shadow people in general. You know, a lot more detail about the different types of shadow people in those videos. And also, of course, I have the story in Encounters with the Paranormal about the experience in my bedroom as a child and the blinking gorilla. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. We have new videos every Tuesday out here on Haunted Road Media. Use hashtag TeamHRM out there on social media. And please, by all means, if you haven't yet, subscribe. Until next time.